Hey everybody, this is, assuming I'm recording, which I believe that I am. I sure am. This is something I've never done before on the channel. I've been on YouTube, if you don't count my channel deletions, since what, 2012 or so? 8 years and change. We got two firsts here. I have never narrated an auction that I myself am not either a player or a manager in, but that's what we're doing today. I am the neutral host here for PPL. And I've also never done an auction with another person. I've got Jabba here, who is one of the players in the pool. Nobody's going to buy him, but he is
Of course not.
eligible. And he's going to be adding color commentary. So even though we're pretty well set up auction-wise, Jabba and I were kind of last minute here on this whole recording thing. We only have about 2 minutes before the auction starts. So give me the TLDR on where you sit. Have you looked at the players at all? What do you think's important in this auction? Blah blah.
No, not really. Do you have a list? Is there a player list actually?
Yeah, there's a player list which
It'd be something good to throw down in the description too. People that are
you're in the auction room, right? So there's the players
guests.
remaining in the pool button, and then there is also, of course, just the signups. I have my list here for those of you watching. I mean, I trust Java completely. He would not do anything stupid with it, or he wouldn't be here. But just to take that extra step, I have not shared my list with Java or with anybody. I've got the players in order of where I think they stand. I have my own values in my mind, but I haven't shared this information with anybody. We're just going to be reacting live as these things go and see how it goes.
So what do we got here? We got 8 teams of how many players?
So there's going to be 10 starters per team and a minimum of 2 subs. So the minimum per team is going to be 12 guys, and the maximum per team, we did in fact set a max so people don't just buy armies. The max is going to be 16 per team. And then the
Okay.
other thing to note really quick, very important, before the auction begins, for those of you watching, there is a special rule in this tour. Players are only eligible to be played for tiers that they signed up for in their sign up post. So, for example, someone like Dice cannot be put in GSC, etc. Somebody like Hyoga Fodex cannot be placed in DPP, etc. So, this is very important. Some of the guys did sign up for multiple tiers. You can flex them, but you cannot just throw someone somewhere that they didn't sign up. So keep that in mind when we're doing these valuations.
What about in emergency situations? Is there any emergency
Yes, good.
rule? Oh,
Yes, good question. The exception to that rule, if the player ends up costing less than 5K, they can be placed anywhere. And the reason that we did this rule is to prevent price fixing, but also simultaneously to make it so no team ends up getting in a situation where they unintendedly don't have a sub, or hell, worst case scenario, maybe even don't have a starter. So it makes it so you can't price fix, but nobody gets fucked and literally doesn't have an eligible player. And it looks like we're about to begin. Alexander is the first nomination, unsurprisingly. He's got to be one of the top 3 overall players in this pool. I would expect a price.
oh,
I would,
see that jump?
I would expect a price tag in the vicinity of 30K, which is what he went for in ROAPL just a few short weeks ago. If it ends anywhere near where it is right now, 22, 23-ish, that is an underpay. Alexander in this tour signed up for ADV and black-white only. Of the two, I would think he's better served in ADV, but either way, I mean, this is an underpay. Like I said, I expect 30K or so. Job, I don't know how high you would go on Alex, but
Right
I
out of the gate, it's always hard to slap a 30K price tag someone as your first buy, but I mean, this is a good one. But yeah, I hate putting myself in that position where now I'm kind of strapped for the rest of the auction. It's kind of a catch 22 when one of the best players is one of the first nominated.
26.5 right now, I think, is too low. 27 for Zomog, the manager of the Four Tree Snipers. 27 is a great price. 27.5 for Christo, Snowpoint Yetis. Like I said, just a few short weeks ago during the Ruins of Elf Premier League auction, Alexander was also the first nom, went for 30K, and that might be an underpay a little bit there for Alexander. A great pickup for Christos and Paris of the Snowpoint Yetis.
Yeah, that's a
Alexander is one of the players I expect to be ultra pricey. Other ones would be Dice, Linear, possibly Ryza. There's a couple other good ones. Cowboy Dan, maybe somebody takes a shot. I don't think he'll be as expensive as the other guys, but he'll have a price tag. Gaku, H-Clat, couple other guys. Nails, Metal Gross. There's definitely some talent on the high end of this tour. And wow, an RBY player for the second nom, Nails.
considering how much he's actually been crushing it in ROAPL, which is in and of itself a bit of a non-main tournament, and he's just stepping in and destroying people. I expect him to go for a lot here too.
What's your cap? I mean, we're already at 19 for
I don't know.
an RBY
RBY is
player.
a tough one because RBY, people joke about it as the luck-based tier, but I think there are noticeable player skill gaps in the tier, and I do think, regardless of the luck, the better player usually does win, and I think there's a huge gap between
Wow.
the nails tier and the lower tier, where I think nails in something like this is just gonna rip you at least an 80% win rate across the season.
Managers
So
seem to agree. We are looking at 24,000 for
I think that's fair. I
RBY.
might go. I might go up to 26 myself. 26, 27 for nails.
They seem to agree. Here's 25,000 for nails. That is way more than I would have anticipated. That is a hefty price tag. But you just got yourself what I have in my rankings as the number one RBY player in this pool. Nails is very, very good. That's going to be a pickup for the Driftvale Gold Diggers. That is Finchinator and Manat.
That's a good early buy. I like that one.
Other premium RBYs, in my opinion, are Metal Gross, Genesis, and Ebola in that order. After that, I think it drops off. I've got my list in front of me. There's a couple other good ones. Haru is a strange third nom. I think she's fine, but I mean, we're talking two like superstar 25 and 30K players, and we're talking someone who probably goes for 6, 7, whatever.
Maybe
And
that's the entire purpose. You lock up a slot for pretty cheap, and then you roll from there, and then you have the bank to the next big guy that gets nominated, and you go in on. So we see if the person that locks this nom up, if they go hard on whatever the next big player is.
The bot seems to be having some kind of issue at the moment. I'm not sure what exactly occurred here. I don't know if Scrappy left. It was having a couple of issues earlier when it was leaving and coming back. That's beautiful. But once the bot comes back, we can resume where we are. Haru is currently being bid on for 5.5K by Zomog. In my mind, she is. Yeah, here we go. People joking about the bot. I don't know. The bot is not my. I mean, this isn't KJ Das's fault either. She's just running it, but I mean, she doesn't make it. She's not responsible for the thing connecting or whatever.
Scrappy just died.
Yeah, it'll come back, but it has been having some issues today because of course it has. Why wouldn't it?
I know, right?
Haru, in my mind, let me pull up my list here. Where do I have her? Among the DPP players, she is. I don't have her too. Actually, the DPP is kind of underwhelming in this. I don't have her super high. I have her on like the low end of my top 10, which I guess, all things considered, isn't too bad when you need 16 DPP starters. But
Oh, Scrappy's back.
Scrappy's back again. You know the line. Scrappy's back. Tell a friend.
Yeah, everybody knows that line.
What that means as far as no players up for auction.
Oh, it locked Haru at 6. You can roll back, right? Yeah, you can undo.
Yeah, Gonna
And
gonna
redo.
gonna redo it. Yep.
Yeah. Thankfully, it has that.
Now,
We've come
Griff.
a long way since I remember the first SPL was forum-based auctioning. It was where you had I think it's exactly how the midterm auctions go, but that was for the entire auction. It was a mess.
Okay, so here's Haru again. I don't think she's worth too much more than about where it was, but in the essence of fairness, you obviously have to give the players the opportunity to bid more if they want to. That's certainly their
And it looks like
prerogative.
they're in a little bit of a fight. I
7K
wonder where they
Haru.
cap that at.
7 or 7.5 is probably the most that I personally would be comfortable with. This to me is the high end of what she's worth. We'll see. Looks like M's team. It's actually 378 doing the bidding. Is going to push this a little bit further. 8K is not like the worst price for her. This is now
Keeps
getting.
going up. Look at this slap fight right here.
Yeah, no, this is an overpay in my opinion.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Again, she's fine. I had her in my top 10, so like maybe I'm just undervaluing the player, but like there's certain tiers where the 10th best guy is miles and miles better than the 15th, 16th, 17th best guy, and I don't think DPP is one of them. I think that she's comparable. I don't like the 10K buy. I think that's too much, but it doesn't make my stomach turn. It's just not a purchase that I would make. But Haru is going to go to the Cinnabar Pyros of Mysterious M and Misty
Here's more.
378.
Here's more RBY.
This is the second best RBY player in the pool, in my opinion, and I don't think he's too far behind Nails, if he's behind Nails at all. So, I mean, if we're going 25 Nails,
Yeah, you expect to see something around 20, or maybe a little bit more.
wow. Hard 15 looks like it's going to get it done. Jumps from 8.5
Oh,
to 15, and
everyone
Zomog.
fucked up trying to upbid him. Good job by was that Zomog who hit the 15 and threw everyone else off.
And now here's Dice. This is another one of the premium
This
targets.
should be a huge one, I think. This will be
Yeah,
one of the higher ones in the auction.
immediate jump to 16K. All right, so Metal Gross out, Haru out. Just updating my list as we go. 18K for Dice. Is Dice going to go for less than Nails?
No, what nails go for 25?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think Dice goes for more.
Dice,
Maybe 20,
Dice was
maybe
like
28.
Dice was like 26 something in the SPL auction, to remind everybody. Which again, I think is an overpay, certainly at the SPL level.
Yeah,
But
it's like BKC really wants him.
he's a great player. He's one of the premier players in this pool, no doubt. Dice signed up for only black, white, and ADV, so you cannot. That's an underpay for sure.
Yeah, good job picking him up.
That's a great buy for BKC and Markov. That is absolutely an underpay. And now Troller comes up, but Troller is not for RBY. It's ADV only Troller.
What do you think about Troller's level of play as an ADV only player?
12 or 13, perhaps.
Okay.
This is about on par. I'm not surprised that it's Finch that wants him. They've worked together in a number of tours. They have a good relationship. BKC, who has him in ROAPL, is also making a push here. I'm not surprised by either of these bids. Zomog also involved. I would say that 14 or 15 is probably a pretty hard cap. The ADV is the strongest and deepest in this tour. There's Linear, there's Gaku, Dice is gone, Alexander's gone, Cowboy Dan, H-Clat Shortage, Bush Tush, Altina, all sorts of good targets. I don't think you have to go crazy.
Don't forget that JabbaTheGriffin fella.
Yeah, but like good targets. People that you want.
Oh.
Fortress Snipers. Zomog having an active early auction here. He's going to start his auction with Troller and Metal Gross, who are definitely good players, and that also is going to give him. That's also going to give a really strong RBY testing partner. Linear gets knobbed here, jumping up very quickly. 3 to 12 to 15 to 20.
22.
We're skipping thousands at a time.
25.
Hard
No fucking around
25. Immediately upbid. 27 Linear for Disaster Areas team. 28 for 378 on the Pyros.
Like that locks him as the most expensive so far.
What did Alex end up being?
20, what was that, 27.5? Yeah.
35 now for Linear. 31. Wow. 31.5. People going
Where does this
over the
stop, you think?
moon.
You think this stops before 35?
It should have stopped already, in my opinion. The ADV is too good. Like, I will take 20k Gaku over 33 Linear. There's just not a 13k gap between those players.
Well, these managers hard disagree with you on that one.
I see that. 34,000 for the Sears. Wow, Disaster Area also pushing it. So is BKC. 35,000. Looks like the most expensive player in the auction. We going more? Yes. Disaster Area 35. BKC bound and determined to get the ADV fucking GOAT.
Do we go like
36,000. 36.5.
Is this going to be like Blue McMegan territory where we're hitting like 40,000?
I mean, 37 is absurd. 37.5, 38.
Oh, BKC really wants Linear.
At first, I was thinking BKC was just upbidding him because Disaster Area has been very, very clear that he wants this guy. But I mean, you don't push that high for an upbid. That he wanted him, and they got him. Linear is with the two ADV players, BKC and Markov, and man, that comes with a price tag. 38,000.
They have to fit like 8 more starters or 8 more players in 61,000.
I mean,
that's gonna be a
Dyson Linear is a fantastic start, but they better fucking fill it in. And interestingly, just a coincidence, those two, Dice and Linear, were actually paired against each other last year in round 1 of CALLOUS Invitational. Okay, Caetano 93, immediate jump to 10K. His stock is at an all-time high right now after a clutch performance in SPL playoffs. 20K, I think, is too much, and I don't think that's going to be upbid. Just kidding. Okay, yeah, I mean, hey, in the early auction, people tend to...
Yeah, early auction is always a mess. I always just stayed away from it. I was like, none of these players go for what they're worth. Yeah, you really want these players on your team, but are you willing to overpay that hard? And I think I learned that, yes, you do on at least one player. I think you do.
Well...
it really brings the team together, I feel like, to have that solid rock in there. Because you're going to have tiebreakers at some point, maybe, if you're making the playoffs. You want that guy that you're confident just throwing into that situation.
I think this one's going to hurt BKC in the fields, because I think BKC really would have wanted to get Tony, but he just can't make this push right now. Having spent big for Dyson Linear, he's going to have to let it go. He hasn't even tried.
Unless he wants to fill the rest of his team with 3K purchases.
Correct. We've got Finch's team and Zakaru's team making the push. 17.5. And yeah, he's going to be a Driftveil Gold Digger alongside Nails. Tony Flygon. Not sure where to put him on the list. He plays lots of stuff, but we'll get him down and we'll update as we go. Here comes Honor being nominated by Triangles and Dio Fantine of the Goldenrod Rollers. What do you think about Honor?
I have none. So,
yeah, that's a fair point. I guess Jabba's not the guy to ask on this topic.
No, I know. Honor's a good player.
Is he a 16K good player and counting?
Unless I missed something from the last year or so, questionable. I don't know. Maybe your opinion might be better on this one, but I don't think so. He's good.
This is too much. I had him on the low end of my top.
Maybe like 12, 13.
Yeah, I had him in the low end of my top 10 for DPP. I think he should be a starter in this tour, given the mediocre DPP pool, but I don't like the price.
Yeah, and it just keeps going up. We're over 20 right now.
Yeah, Zomog making a push here. Zomog has a decent little start. I definitely thought that Zom got that he got a good price on Metal Gross at 15, especially considering what Nails went for.
Yeah, that does put you in a good spot for your next purchases.
Well, 21K. I think both of Disaster Area's buys were overpays to various extents, but
Here comes another big advance one right here with Cowboy Dan.
I don't know how big this one's going to go. Dan has been dead for the better part of a year and a half, but he is a Callous Invitational 2
The,
champion.
the name might just carry him to 20.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I mean, I believe in Dan. I for sure have no problem throwing down cash money here. 17? I'm okay with this price. What's the cap for you? Dan's good. It's so hard to bid on a player who's been more or less out of the game for the
Yeah,
better part of a year and a half. It makes it tough.
yes, assuming that he's going to come in, he's going to play, he's going to put some effort in. I think 21
He'll
is probably
definitely try. He's not a
where I
player
cap it.
he's not a player that signs up to not give a shit. He'll absolutely put effort in. The question is how good is he going to be after being away for so long?
I don't think that matters that much, especially for something like advanced where you just kind of got to look at maybe like the SPL usage numbers to kind of get a lock on what the metagame looks like, then shift your teams around a little bit. We're not with advanced the way it is, you're not really looking at an ever evolving metagame that's going to be 100% different than it was a year and a half ago.
That's going to be a third buy for Disaster Area and Hellpona of the Moss Deep Supernovas. So he's got himself Cowboy Dan at what I think is probably a fair price. Maybe a little high, but probably about fair. And then he's got Keitano 93 and Honor, who are both good players, but I think he might have paid a little too much for them. But DA has a pretty good team at the moment. Like I said, I don't know that I love the prices, but talent-wise, he's picked up three good players.
He looks like he's going to be in almost as rough of a spot as BKC moving forward in the draft. I think they're a little hamstrung on their future purchases because of how hard they went in on several players.
Yeah, they
So
went.
we'll see.
They paid a lot for both Dice and Lanier.
So you see, the Dragoons and the Rollers are playing a more long-term strategy, and Cinnabar to the Pyros to some extent. They're just kind of sitting back a little bit, see if they can get players for what they think their actual value is rather than overpaying. So we'll see if that helps them later on when we get to some of the mid-tier players and they're underpaying, rather than overpaying. And so you're able to put a more complete team together. So we'll see how the lineups shake out. But I do think sitting back and letting other teams kind of hamstring themselves with these early purchases gives you a bit of an advantage. And that's how I always like to play the draft myself.
Here's Luigi, who I had as one of the top three DPP options in an underwhelming DPP pool. This is also a good team presence and a versatile player who can test any tier, so I think this is a good buy at the current price.
We'll see if the Dragoons or Rollers go in on this one finally. This could be a good purchase for them.
10K, I think, is an underpay for him in this tour. Alkeone clicks 11. Why didn't that go through?
Sometimes it's lagging a little bit. Oh,
Why didn't the 11 go through? I might have to address that.
yeah. This bot. Oh, he's saying that was 5 seconds according to timestamps. Oh, yeah.
Looks
No,
like
the bot didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, looks like he didn't get it in on time. Yeah. All right, I'm giving them the
Oh,
go.
wait, no, but Finch is saying 4. I don't know.
I'm gonna give them the go ahead to continue here. Uh,
I mean, if you wanna buy someone, just put it in quick. Clearly, is what we're seeing. Don't
so where did he end up going, Luigi?
for 10, I think.
To the Cinnabar Pyros. Okay,
Yeah.
Cinnabar Pyros. Okay, so they actually have both their DPP already in Haru and Luigi. We're now looking at Keenan here, who signed up for only GSC. He does play ADV as well, but only GSC in this tour.
Isn't this the guy that replaced you in SPL?
It is, yeah.
Sorry to bring up bad memories.
No, it's. I mean, it is what it is. I don't think he's a great ADV player, for being frank. I have no problem saying that on the record. But for GSC, I have him fourth overall in this tour. 16 is probably a fine price for him. Yeah, I think that was a fine buy.
All right.
I'm not surprised that it's Zakaru here. It's a French manager. buying a French player. That is
Damn French.
not overly surprising to me. As I said, I had Keenan fourth in my GSC ratings, and I
That's
think
pretty
that
fair then.
yeah, I thought that
That's
was a
best
good,
player.
thought that was a fine buy. This guy, I'm gonna.
Thunder Sebra. This is a new one.
Oh man, I was gonna let you talk about him. You don't know him, do you?
No.
Okay, well, the reason I was going to let Java talk about him is because I don't like offending people. I don't think this guy is very good. Uh, he he won the one of the GSC qualifiers on Pokemon Perfect, so like he's obviously not awful, but he could definitely be better.
Well, that was reflected in the price since he capped at 6.
Well, uh, they went straight for GSC, so there it is. Keenan and Thunder Sebra is going to be the GSC for the Blackthorn Dragoons. I will get both those guys off my list. That's probably a good tier to get out of the way. I like this player better than either of those players. Bomber here. I think
Yeah, I like Bomber too.
I had Bomber as my second best. I had him as the number 2 GSC option here. The one thing to note with Bomber is that he has been out of the game for a while, so it's the same thing. Is he rusty? Is he still good? It's so hit or miss. People come back and it's like they never missed a fucking step, or people come back and they're just never the same again. Uh, 8K for Bomber, I think, is a ludicrous underpay.
Oh, it's huge.
I would have gone 15K plus on him there. I think that is a disgusting underpay. And here is
They were saying redo that. What happened with the thing? Oh, Alcyone. Did it happen again?
yeah. We seem to. Yeah, we're gonna definitely redo that. If it's 4 seconds instead of 5, blow me. But 2 seconds is obviously not enough. That's not. We need to be reasonable. I don't know why the bot is acting up, but there is clearly an intended bid. It was 2 seconds. That's going to be a redo. Bomber, I think, and this is why we're not live streaming it, because if people were hearing this, I might be inadvertently influencing them. Like I said, I had Bomber as the number 2 in the pool. I think Bomber should be closer to like 16K, and the price that he went for this first time around via the glitch was way too fucking low.
Yeah, all these are going to come in at the same time. Yeah, there's a little lag on the bot. It seems to be fine as long as you get your nom in pretty quickly after.
15.5.
156.
There we go. 16K, 16.5, yeah. Bomber 18, 19 wouldn't upset me. Here's the thing. So Bomber, he has a history of being dominant in these side tours, whether it's POCL, whether it's PPL. I've seen him go X1 or XO multiple times. But then when he stepped up to the big boy stage, SPL and World Cup, he did not do so well. So it's kind of hit or miss. The other thing against Bomber, like I said, is that he's been out of the game for X amount of time. So do you want to take a chance on he's coming back and he's not crusty? My answer would be yes. I had him as number 2. This price is getting a little high, but I would not be shocked if Bomber went X1 or a similar kind of record. In GSC, that is. I don't even think he signed up to play ADV. I can double check that real quick. Yeah, only GSC. But that's where he belongs anyway. It's his best tier.
Supernovas really want him. This might lock it for them, the 22.5. Yep.
Okay. Disaster Area very low on money at this point, but has bought a number of players early on in this auction. And to be fair, good players. Kitano, Honor, Cowboy Dan Bomber. Wow, we're going hard here. Void jumping immediately from 3 to 10. Then to 12, now to 15 for the Goldenrod Rollers. That's Triangles and Diofantine. BKC in for 15.5. Some of the premier SPL managers here, Triangles, Finch, BKC, all Smogon guys, all SPL guys, making the push for Void. 17 gets it done.
Yep.
It sure does. Goldenrod Rollers are going to pick him up. He'll be joining. Is that the first
Nobody.
buy?
That's their first purchase, yes.
It's the first buy. 17K Void for the Goldenrod Rollers. Clean up my list here as we wait for the next nom. Genesis 7, one of the... I had him third on my RBY list. I believe that... There we go. The bot is just lagging again. Genesis, I think, should be in the vicinity of 15, but I mean, if that's the going rate, right? If Metal Gross is 15, Genesis should
You would
also be about
expect
15.
maybe Genesis. I don't know how flexible he is in other tiers, but that might help a little bit because he's listed for all three, and I know,
Yeah, he did sign up for everything.
or all five rather.
Yeah, good on him to be willing to play whatever the team needs him to play.
But it looks like the bidding's slowing down, so maybe we're capping at where Metal Gross went for, or just short of that. Which is funny. You had him third in the list. Oh no, looks like a last second up bid to 15.
I think 15 is a fine price. I don't know that I love going too far over. 15.5 doesn't offend me. Don't know that I'd go. This is probably about it for me. 15.5 I think is fine. 378 of the Pyros sneaking in here for 16 if the bot accepts it. It's being laggy. And
It didn't.
it did not. Laggy bot. Didn't even want him, says Triangles.
What a 16,400 people on Smogon. I guess it could be some sort of lag. That is a very high number of users. Remember when there'd be like 200 people on Shoddy? Now we're at 16,000. How far the game has come. Oh, everyone's saying 5 seconds. 16.
Just letting the guys know how to proceed here. Okay, Das is taking care of it. Again, I want to emphasize that this is not DAS's fault or the host's fault or anybody's fault. This is simply, for whatever reason, the bot being laggy.
Yeah, not much you can do about that. What the fuck?
Okay,
there we go.
There's 16 for the
Went
Pyros.
through smoothly. We're good.
Anybody else? All right.
That's what they're letting them have it for.
16 to the Pyros. There we go. Genesis 7. So, Pyros are Haru, Luigi, and Genesis at the moment. Not too bad. I don't think it's a world-beating team. Here's the other good RBY. And by good, I mean, like, is supposed to be good, but notoriously struggles in team tours. This guy does well individually, but for whatever reason, team tours, he just underperforms, and that's been a consistent pattern. I don't know if it's nerves or if he changes what he does, or I don't know. You tell me, but Ebola on paper is one of the better RBYs, and the managers are making a push, 14K, but I have seen some shaky team tours out of him, and he's going to be a goldenrod roller, it seems. Goldenrod rollers. Doing my list here.
Yep, looks like they locked up Void Ebola. Now there's only one team with one player. That's the Yetis sitting, who bought the first player in the draft, Alexander, and then have been very quiet since.
They might have a specific list of people that they want. And I think there are still premium targets. I think Bush Tush Ryza Lax are really good black whites. I think that cross out several of these. I think that Mele, I think Blightbringer, H-Clat, Shortage, Altina. There's definitely still some high-end talent in this, though it is, of course, going to dry up. Okay, Boom Bye Yeah, this is Chulio on Smogon. He is a GSC main. He played in SPL a number of times, but he signed up for only black-white in this tour, and that does not seem to be deterring the managers here. You familiar with this guy, Java?
Chulio? Yeah, I know Chulio. I think you need to go a little far down the list before I start not recognizing the player. I'm not that useless. I'm kind of useless, but I'm not that useless.
14K to the Goldenrod Rollers. That feels, I don't know. For him in black-white, I'm not as thrilled about that.
What does he What would he go for most in?
He's a GSC main. He played that in SPL a couple of years.
Odd thing to come in and then only want to play black white, which is just as bad. Imagine going from the worst Pokemon gen to the second worst Pokemon gen.
I think all of Bush Tush, Ryza, and Lax are significantly better black-white players than Chulio, so for that reason, I do not care for that purchase. I feel like that is an overpay. Alrighty, so got a little time to real quick look where we are and clean up my list. That's good. Got a little brief pause here. Inappropriate comment there, but probably not wrong. And waiting for the nom from the Moss Deep Supernovas, which is disaster area in Halpona. Okay, Mix. The word that comes to my mind is no. What do we think, Java?
Just no.
This dude is going to play 1 week and then quit the tour. He's done it a million times. He's not reliable. And even if he played every single week, he's just not as good as some of the better options. Between those two things, I wouldn't even take this dude for 3K.
Yeah, he's being upbid.
Yeah, I mean, other managers disagree. I mean, this is like bidding on Somalia. This is like bidding on... I mean, Somalia's gotten better with the inactivity bullshit in recent years, but... You get what you get. You know what you're buying. He may or may not be there. Saffron Sears is going to pick him up for 7K. So the real question is whether they have dice in... Because Mix is black-white only. So the real question is whether they have dice in ADV or black-white. If they have them in ADV, then they have by far the best ADV core in the tournament with dice and linear. If dice is black-white... Oh, here's a big one. Here's Gaku.
Yeah, Gaku should go for a lot. He's been crushing the CALLOUS Fight Night.
Gaku should be in the vicinity of 20, but we'll see.
Shout out to my Fight Night next week against him. UUBL only. Fight Night.
Well, you're allowed to use NUs, right, or no?
Well, yeah, you can.
Just no OUs, right?
Yeah.
14, underpay for sure. Like I said, Gaku 20, 21, 22 is a more realistic price. This is absolutely an underpay, especially given what both Dice, Linear, and Alexander too. Gaku's, yeah, that's stupid. That's a mega underpay.
That's a really good price. Fortree Sniper's shaping up pretty good.
Troller, Gaku, Metalgross, yeah, that's a team. I think he got a good price on both Gaku and Metalgross. I think he underpaid on both. So I think Zomog is having himself a nice draft.
Yeah, that puts him in a really good spot going forward. What was it? Troller is only advance, right?
Right. So is
Gaku. Advance is Gaku Troller, RBY Metalgross.
Solid.
Here's H-Clat right up. Back to back, we got some pretty big advanced names coming in.
I had H-Clat 5th overall on my ADV list. I think that he's the best ADV player remaining. How much someone wants to push that, we'll see. I think what he's worth is probably in the vicinity of 14, 15K. But given what Gaku just went for, I could see him potentially going for less. Dragoons, led by Zakaru, who of course is heavily into ADV, making a push. 10K is definitely an underpay for H-Clat.
Yeah, that's really good for them. And
that's a great price. Alrighty, so H-Clat to the Blackthorn Dragoon. So there we go. This is who I had as the best GSC player in the pool. Number 1.
Oh, did Triangle's co-manager yank the nom from him?
Evidently. What's your price here?
For Blightbringer? I don't know, but it's going to be a lot.
I'd keep going. I like
18?
Yeah.
20 maybe?
Yeah, I'm with you. I had him as number 1.
Especially if you're one of the teams that has money, which a few do. I think this might be one you go in on.
I had him as my number 1 GSC option. 17 for Cinnabar Pyros. Do they need it or is this an up bid? They do need it. They have Genesis, Haru, Luigi. Zomog also interested. Zomog's team also doesn't have GSC. GSC quickly drying up too.
Yeah,
So
this could actually go for a lot more if these two are just going to fight between themselves. We could see this in the low to mid 20s if they want to keep pushing each other. Though it looks like no, they're still going.
Some of the better GSCs have already been scooped up, and it is not a deep pool. I'm fine with the 20 push for Zomog, especially with how good his team is
Yeah,
already.
I mean they both need it. So if you need it and you got the funds, this is one you push on. So
They both agree. 20.5?
and there it is.
20.5 to the Pyros. So it is Haru, Luigi, Blightbringer, and Genesis 7 on the Pyros. And now we're quickly moving to one of the best black-white options.
This one should go for a lot. I'm comfortable after seeing him play in recent weeks in ROAPL. I'd be very comfortable dropping 20 something on him.
Yep.
He's looking real good.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think about 20 is probably a pretty good price. It's now Finch who lost to him in SPL finals, so Finch obviously has respect for him. Finch is making the push. Dio and Triangles, a lot of teams interested. Cinnabar Pyro's in the mix here. Several teams. Zomog is involved. Yeah, a lot of teams interested in this player.
Going this late. Yeah, I could see this being a heavy push. We'll see who drops off once we hit around 18, which is where a lot of teams that don't really want them start to drop off. So this is going to be another fight between Mr. 378 and Zomog. Back-to-back noms.
Snipers and Pyros going back-to-back here. Pyros looking to win both of them, however. And they do.
Did.
And they do. So Ryza is going to be a Cinnabar Pyro alongside...
They have a pretty good squad lining up so far.
Yeah, the black-white I think still has some depth, but like Bush Tush and Lax I think are premium players, and I think like Luckskill, A Hero's Destiny, a couple others are totally fine. The GSC I would be worried about. Here's another one. So the black-white is starting to really dry up at this point. Lax, I think, I have him as worse than Bush Tush, but they're probably pretty close. Maybe a matter of opinion. But Lax, I think, is one of the two best black-white players left, whether you like him or Bush Tush better. We'll see who's making the push. BKC involved, Zomog involved, Finch, Dio, a lot of teams. 11K right now.
I'm surprised the Yetis have not gone in on anyone else yet.
They've just Alexander. Yeah, maybe they have a very picky list and they're aiming at specific players. But, yeah, they haven't even dipped in on certain guys that I think it might have been worth at least taking a flyer on.
Yeah, the past few. They must be locked in on a few BW players because now we're quickly drying that well up and they haven't gone after any of them.
20K for Lax here, so he's going to actually be more than Ryza, which I personally would prefer Ryza of the two, but I do have a lot of respect for Lax. When he gives a shit, and there's nothing to say that he will or won't in this tour, but if he gives a shit, this is a very, very talented player, but he does have a history of some behavioral issues. He definitely is one of those guys who needs to land on the right team with a manager that he likes and gets along with. And Zomog is probably a great fit for that. They were U.S. West World Cup teammates. Those guys definitely have a relationship. I think that's a good landing spot for him. And Zomog's team as a whole looks very good right now. Lax, Troller, Gaku, Metalgross.
Looks like we got a big GSC nom that just hit.
Hyoga Fodex is a versatile player. He can play ADV, he can play DPP, but for this, he only signed up for GSC. He's one of the better GSCs remaining. Let me pull up my list real quick. I have him as the second best GSC remaining.
Wow. And
the managers seem to recognize that as well. They are making a pretty big push. We've got Finch in here for 15.
Finch has been going in on a lot. Has he won any of these? No, it looks like he's always beaten by that last 500.
Well, they got that one.
Okay, they finally ripped one.
Hyoga Fodex. So Tony, Hyoga, and Nails for Finch's team, the Driftveil Gold Diggers.
Pretty solid, and they got some credits.
The Yetis might be being too passive. Everybody else has at least three players, whereas
100% agree.
Yeah, I
They
mean,
seem to drop off so early on any of the ones that they're actually in. Some they're just not in.
well, they're hitting the point where there's only so much talent left in the pool. Like, even if they
Yeah.
hypothetically got, say, the two best players overall that are remaining in the pool, you got to hit a point where it's like, is that talent good enough compared to what's already been taken? P2. This guy, he was my SPL teammate the first time around with the Tigers. Nice guy, underrated player, but reliability issues.
Which is reflected in that extremely low price.
Yeah, on and off with how much he cares. Quits the game. Kind of, I don't know, kind of temperamental. We'll see. I don't know if he's going to be a sub or a starter somewhere. He might be their second GSC starter. I guess that's where I'll slot him in for now. But he can go a number of places. But yeah, P2 and Haru are both, I mean, they're both fine, but neither of them excite me for the Pyros. Their team isn't bad by any means, and every team inevitably is going to have a couple of mass slots, so like maybe taking a decent player for 5K, given the context of the pool, is fine, but I don't know. P2, maybe. Maybe.
Who you think is having the best draft so far?
Zomog's team and Disaster Area's team look very good. The problem with DA's team is how much money he has left. So, like, yeah, the four that he has are nice, but, like, how the fuck are you filling it in with only 33K? Um, Yetis, I mean, you can't go too far wrong with Alexander, and, like, they got a good price, but, like,
Yeah, they're
you got to make a move.
they
And
missed off on a lot. Yeah,
I don't know. I like Zomog's draft quite a bit, and like with Dice Linear, you can't go too far wrong. But again, how do you fill it?
I like the Gold Diggers Finch's team. They only had three so far, but they're sending on a lot of money. I think they can go hard on whatever top tier players are still remaining. I'm sure there are a couple people on your list that are
Ooh,
top.
underpay for Mr. Tim.
Yeah,
That's a nice little RBY core, Vbola and Mr. Tim. That's going to inevitably be one of the better RBY cores in the tour, you would think. Okay, XCal. So XCal is a DPP main who signed up for everything other than DPP.
that's pretty hilarious. He's
Where
still
does that
going for a
leave
lot.
us? He's a good player.
He is a good player.
He's a new guy. He's has not been around too long, but he's been doing well lately. And yeah, people seem to have a lot of respect despite him refusing to play his main 16-5 and counting here with multiple managers interested. 17K.
Are the Yetis? Oh, the Yetis actually are in on this one. Look at that.
Okay, so
This,
in my mind, the overall two best players remaining in the pool are Bush Tush and Mele. You can make an argument for Altina, I think, is also an argument. Those are probably, if I'm sitting on a pile of money, the way that the Fortree, or sorry, the Snowpoint Yetis rather seem to be, those are probably the kind of guys that I'm targeting.
20K.
Wow, that's a lot, but he is gonna be a gold digger, and I don't know where they're gonna put him. It looks like probably black white based on what their team needs right now, but he can go anywhere other than DPP. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Uh, Bush Tush, Luck Skill, Lusix. Let's see, who else is good? Shortage, Mela, Altina, Kichi. Wellu is still in this draft. I'm surprised Wellu hasn't been nominated, actually.
Yeah.
Jacob is a respected player that has a good relationship with a lot of people. Okay, Decode I had briefly on my SPL team. He actually ended up getting traded. He didn't really get too many opportunities. He only played one game with us. He didn't win, but nerves got to him. It was his very first SPL game. That happens to a lot of people. I don't hold that too much against him. This guy's pretty talented, and I have him. Where's my GSC? Yeah, I've got him as the second best GSC remaining under Melee.
Okay. Looks like he's
11K.
gonna go for a pretty fair price.
Zomog jumped up from 9-5 to 11, and that is going to get it done. So Zomog's Four Tree Sniper is going to pick up its first GSC. And again, given what is remaining for GSC, that's a fine pickup because there's what's left is what's left. There's not too many premium options, and that was probably one of the better choices among what was remaining.
Christos with the 5 minute later. That right there, I think, describes the entire Gettys draft so far.
Yeah, so that about sums it up, right? Here's Altina coming. Altina nom by the Pyros, quickly bouncing up to 7.5 to 8. I have Altina as the second or third best ADV remaining. You could argue that he's the best ADV remaining. I actually have Shortage above him, who I think is criminally underrated, though I think he's not going to go for as much as Altina, just because Altina is more known, more established, been around longer, blah, blah, blah. This price is in the vicinity of fair. I think it's starting to get a little higher than it should be, but you just have to understand where the auction is. ADV is very deep in this, but if you think there's a big drop-off between like the Altina, Shortage, Bush Tush tier of players than the next tier down, then maybe you make a push so you don't get stuck with lesser tier guys, and maybe people are starting to feel like ADV is drying up and panicking. 18K is what he ends up going for to the Goldenrod Rollers.
Is that their first ADVer?
Yes.
Looks like it, yeah.
So it is Black White Chulio, DPP Void, ADV Altina, and then Ebola Mr. Tim for RBY. It's a solid squad.
Yeah, they're looking pretty good so far.
That's a balanced team. I don't know if they have any like world-beating carry kind of player, but it's a balanced team. It's a solid team. Let me start being a little bit negative. Everyone likes some negativity. So some teams that I don't care for right now. I'm not thrilled with the Dragoons position. I think that the players that they have are not world beaters, and I think they're waiting too long to make moves. And I think Yetis are going to have the same problems. They are making a push here for Mela, who is a player that I think is the best GSC remaining, and think has just been perpetually underrated. I'd be very happy with Mela. He was undefeated for me on my winning POCL team. But
I think this has to be the spot the Yetis go in on to grab him. They have to. And it looks like people are going to fight him for it, which is unfortunate, when you wait this long to really go in on another player. Yeah, people are jamming this. Someone just nom like 18 to push a few teams out.
There's 17.
He's gonna reach that anyway.
Well, people know how good he is. People know what he's worth, and I mean,
and they know the Yetis really need him at this point. So you can almost just keep up it with the full knowledge that they're going to have to put more in, make them overpay.
I mean, GSC is just always going to be a scrap because like it's drying up so fast, and so many teams really need a guy. So finally, the Yetis make a move, and they get definitely a good player, but
they added, if they can quickly add, 1 or 2 more players, then we're talking about them as a team that's up there,
Well, they really had to pay the price for waiting, though. That definitely cost more than it could have because they waited.
I think they were specifically upbid. That's a smart upbid there by the Rollers. I think with the full knowledge, they need Mela,
And the Rollers have the Rollers don't either. So actually, that leaves them in a
they
weird
needed
spot.
Them too, yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Here comes Luck Skill for Black White. I have him at this time as the second best Black White remaining under Bush Tush. 9K is an underpay at this point for sure. This would be a great grab for the Yetis, and
that's now see, look at that. Now they're shaping up pretty good. They went from rough spot to not too bad. Most credits, second most credits left with a solid core 3. Yeah, they're looking to be in a good spot if they just grab all the remaining upper level players left. Like the Bush Tush you said that hasn't been nominated. They grab him. Now look at them. They're a good team.
Bush Tush, Shortage are 2 that really stand out to me as good players that are still in the pool. Kichi, Unknown Dragon are some RBY options. Emerald for only ADV. That's not right. I guess he said he would support DPP. but he's only going to actually play ADV. So okay, I'm not interested in him for ADV. I'm just not. There's many better ADV options. I have a list of like literally a dozen or more players I would take before him. The managers don't agree. Here is Manat making a push. I don't like this buy for them. I
I
don't.
agree to an extent because I mean that is still only 6K. Did they
Yeah.
need an ADVer?
Uh,
Yeah, I guess.
the
Do they want to start him there? That's the question.
the Gold Diggers. Well, it would be him and it would either be him and Tony, or if they put Tony in, Tony could go anywhere. So it's hard to tell what their team is exactly. But Emerald is ADV only. Rakan here signed up for a bunch of stuff. This is a player in my mind that is only black-white. We will see what other managers want to do. Alkeone making the push here. He's Blackthorn Dragoons alongside Zakaru. Rakan is this is probably about the right price. 7 or 8K for a reasonable black-white player.
Looks like he's still going though.
I have him as the fourth best black-white player remaining, fourth
It
or
might
fifth.
just be because you. I think you've mentioned a few times that black white's pretty shallow, right? So that
No.
might be.
Black-white's,
Black white's not.
black-white and ADV are the two deepest in the
Oh,
pool.
okay. So what's shallow? DPP.
I mean, GSC at this point is you're really picking up scraps.
Baron. Okay.
But I think GSC and ADV and RBY rather were not great to begin with. That I think is an overpay. I like Rakan. I think he's underrated, but that's too much. I can't say I'm a huge fan of. Oops, PM from Huston. Was I bought? Not yet. I don't think I'm a huge fan of the Dragoons draft if we're being frank. I don't. I mean, their team isn't bad, but the talent I just don't think is good enough, and I think you're at the point where it's hard, it's getting difficult to turn that around. It's getting to the point where even if you got the three best players remaining in the pool, are they good enough? Bush Tush and Shortage are probably two of them. Wellu is another one.
We got a big one going on right now.
15K. Yeah, this is a player I'm not overly familiar with. I might have been misevaluating, apparently, since other people think this guy's good. This is a black-white push, black-white only. Alkeone interested here, as is Zomog. It seems to be only those two bidding at this point. Finch dipped in a little bit earlier, but has subsequently backed out. Dragoons making the push. Dragoons
They're pushing this high.
Dragoons just bought Rakan, so it would be this gentleman plus Rakan if he went there, and then Zomog has. Check for Zom. Where did that go? That went to the snipers. So, Zomog has.
Is that Lax?
That is Lax, yes. It's going to be Lax and Evu Elf as their black-white core. Yeah, I mean, Zomog's team looks good. I like Zom's team. I like Yeti's team, but I still think they waited too long. Dragoons, I'm underwhelmed. Sears, we'll see how they fill. Gold Diggers, it's solid. It doesn't look like a world beater. Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone's having a blatantly terrible draft. Supernovas I like, but they haven't made a move in a while. The 4 players that they do have are all good, but they have not.
They kind of made it so they couldn't.
Right, exactly.
Those remaining credits.
That's the problem. When you go aggressive early, that's exactly what happens.
It's Kale.
Kale Pora!
This man better go for 40,000, or else this draft is a sham.
Absolutely. Give me a real price. What do you really think for Kale?
I don't know, like 12.
Yeah, fair enough. This is another one when he's been out of the game for X amount of time. You're just kind of taking a gamble. Is he coming back like he never missed a beat, or is this guy a shell of his former self? For 5K...
Looks like they're assuming he's a shell.
For 5K, I would take the chance. I think that is a nice...
Oh, yeah, that's definitely worth a gamble.
That is a nice value pickup, I think, for BKC and Markov, who can absolutely support him in ADV if he needs teams or whatever.
Yeah, just give him teams, let him do his Kale thing.
Yeah, those are great managers to support a potentially rusty
I bet he went to the
ADV
mountains
player.
to train in his English fluency.
Okay,
and now he's a well-spoken gentleman.
All right, so that's going to move dice up to black-white. So it's going to be Linear and Kale are going to be their starters. And it's going to be dice and looking like mix as their black-white starters.
All right, so then they need to fill in some of the
All
weaker
three.
areas. They locked up their spots for the areas you said were the deepest, and now they're going to need to go in
All
on.
three other tiers they need.
That's going to be rough, man. Locking up GSC and RBY at this point.
Yeah, I'm not too thrilled looking at my list of the GSC options to be.
What's the best one remaining? You think?
Man, I didn't want to say this name out loud. Lojh Lodge. What do you got?
Loach. Loach.
I've got Lodge, Oibov, Frisoeva, Vanisher. Here's
Oh shit!
Jabba.
It's the legendary Trainer Orange. Let's go Min.
Overpay.
Oh, a huge overpay.
Who's interested in you? We have Supernovas, Dragoons.
Am I going for 4K?
It's an underpay if so.
To the Dragoons. Oh no! Last second up bid.
Sniped. See what I did there by Zomog?
Ah,
Nope. Dragoons coming in.
nope.
There we go. There's some respect. All right. So a realistic price for Jabba, I think, is probably 7.75, maybe 8, right in that vicinity. I think is probably about what you should be paying. I think this is fair. I wouldn't be mad at 10, but I don't think I would go over 10.
I'm actually surprised I went for more than like 4, but
8.5 says
Zomog
Zomog.
seems to want me. Oh shit!
There's the hard 10 from Zakaru and Alcione. And that looks like it's probably going to get it done.
Send this man to the Dragoons. Hey!
Yeah. Jabba, you are Dragoon, which I don't really like their draft.
Are you just shit talking them? Fuck.
No, you're a Dragoon. I don't know if you're an ADV or a DPP Dragoon, but you're a Dragoon. Hey, with H-Cloud, he's on our other team.
Oh yeah, look at that. Just following H-Cloud around.
Here comes Triangles nominating Frisoeva, one of the better GSCs remaining, but I mean, I don't think that's saying too much. I think the GSC at this point is getting a little rough. 7.5 and counting. 9. Yeah, I mean, I guess you got to do what you got to do, right?
Yeah, at this point.
Here's 10. Let's see.
Is this BKC going in on this? Yeah, BKC and Chris, the Yetis.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Yetis would love to lock this up so they don't have to worry about GSC. And especially if they push the Sears out of GSC, like GSC or the Sears are going to be fighting for the scraps. And I think that's a good strat here. I think if I'm the Yetis, I go up. I just keep going, push BKC out of GSC.
BKC can only afford so much because he went so hard on Linear and Dice. Yeah, he just got pushed out. So it's going to be the Yetis, and they're going to have a pretty reasonable GSC core in Mela and Frisoeva. I mean, that's not amazing in most tours, but in the context of this tour, that is absolutely going to end up being one of the better GSC cores. So in context, I think that is not too bad at all. Yetis are shaping up down there, but I have the core problem of all right, you got money, even if you get all the best players remaining, is it enough? All right, here's a guy I'm very interested in. Definitely, in my mind, the best ADV remaining. Do the managers agree?
Also, a strong start with the bidding.
6'5".
Who really wants him here?
Be on the lookout for this guy in CALLOUS Invitational in some way or another, whether it's the main event or the play-ins. Be on the lookout for this guy.
So who really wants him? Probably the diggers, the
Yetis making a
pyros,
push.
snipers. Who's actually going in on him? Diggers.
This is actually a great buy if the Yetis get him. They would have Alexander Shortage and they would have Mela Frisoeva, and both of those are among the best cores in the tier, in the tournament for their tiers. This is actually that's a nice buy. Yetis are actually really shaping up, I think. They're actually not so high on money as they were before. They waited, but now they're they're right in the middle actually on the totem pole money-wise. But their team is starting to really take
and
shape.
player numbers, so it's not like they're short for the end game purchases. Dragoons are a step above everybody with their remaining money, so hopefully they go in hard. I think they need to on a couple of the biggest remaining players. Who would you put up as the biggest remaining? Was that Bush Tush still hasn't gone yet, right?
Bush Tush is, in my mind, far and away the best remaining player and is better than a number of the players that have already been purchased. Wellu is another one. I can't believe people love Wellu.
Yeah, maybe the Yeti or not the Yetis, the Dragoons
Yeah,
go in.
another French guy. Thiago Nunez, one of the okay RBY options. Man, I don't know. Once the premium guys are gone, I don't know that I see myself spending 6.5 or whatever it is for RBY.
Do you think he's a step above the guys that you would get really late for like 3 to 4?
I have three guys that I think are just in a tier above this guy, and I think he's like comparable to some of the other 3-4K ish options. So I would say no. I think
Okay.
I don't like that price. There's been a couple for that team in particular, the Pyros, that I have not loved some of the prices. I think they've spent middling money on mediocre a number of times. Here's Bush Tush. This is important.
Here we go. This should break the bank of whoever goes in on him here.
This is a big one. This is a player that should be. I mean, who knows what players have remaining for money, but I mean, what is he worth? 16, 17. This is a player that's going to go X1 or X2 in black white. Massive underpay at 11. That was a huge buy for the Rollers. Huge underpay there.
Markop with the super late super late.
Yeah, that was a huge underpay. That was a great buy for Triangles and Dio Fantine. So now it's really what do teams need to fill? I've got my list going on here. So, I mean, every team still needs something, of course. We're only at the midpoint about of the auction. But now the noms really become about need more so than trying to bait out money. There's not too many world-beating players left that are going to draw out ridiculous money from the other managers. So it really becomes who can I nom to fill what I need without other managers jumping down my throat. And we're waiting on the Dragoons here, who have by far the most money. Byron the Well, taking a trip to the land down under.
That's a new player for me. That's an interesting name.
3K for Byron.
What do you think about this player?
I think he's a nice guy.
PC is always callous.
There's Zomog picking him up. Byron the Well, I'm going to put him down probably as a substitute, but you never know. Zomog is snipers. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and just put him down as a sub. But his Discord is Assman. You got to support that, right?
Of course. Is he a proctologist or?
Absolutely.
Oiboff.
Oiboff coming down for GSC. Not a world-beating player, an underrated player, but not a world beater by any means. But given
a lot of teams need that GSC
exactly.
We could still see him go for a good amount of money.
I have Oiboff as the second best GSC remaining, and
at this point, you're just spending money to fill those gaps.
Yeah, and I mean, if you want to argue that he's the best GSC remaining as opposed to Loj, fine. Those two are probably comparable. That was, I guess, just a buy for need, right? So it's going to be Hyoga Fodex and Oiboff doing the GSC for the Driftvale Gold Diggers. Alrighty, here is one of the better RBYs remaining. I think him, Kichi, and Unknown Dragon are the three standout RBYs remaining. Managers seem to agree. Bids coming in very quickly on this player. I mean, he's worth this price talent-wise. The real question is how much do you want to spend on RBY?
I mean, if you got to fill it, you got to fill it. So the Sears are going in now. They really need RBY? Like really need
10K.
him.
Whew. Hot
Did they get
damn.
him 10? Yep.
Yeah, I mean that's a good player, but 10K RBY. There's been several of them. There's been what, 3 RBYs, 4 RBYs in this that have ended up going for 10K plus.
The sprinkler is playing for ROAPL.
Well, that blows because
Can't watch.
yeah, I mean I could
I'll
watch it.
give you periodic updates.
I could watch it on my phone, I guess. He better fucking win, or he's gonna be sprinkling my nutsack. Here comes Leo to Driftvale Gold Diggers for 5K.
What is he gonna play?
Leo, what do they need? They need.
Well, I'm gonna assume
Depends on.
every team needs.
It depends on where they put Tony, but he's either going to be DPP or ADV. It looks like for this team. They're black whites. Phil. Here's Wellu. Yes.
Yep.
ADV only Wellu.
Still gonna go for quite a bit. Who still needs ADV? Rollers maybe.
Everybody other than BKC's team, I think.
Yeah.
Needs,
All right. So
and BKC's pushing for it. I don't know
my
why.
team doesn't really need it, depending on where they want to slot me.
BKC's making the push, so they obviously see their team differently than I see their team. Are they just throwing away that? Is Kale just sitting on the bench?
It could be. I won it.
I don't like this at all because Lanier's ADV only, Dice's black white are ADV only. Maybe they're benching Mix.
They could play Kale in like. Did Kale sign up for everything? Because you could put him at like GSC.
Yeah, it might be GSC Kale actually. It's looking that way, especially if they end up getting this player. M is also going pretty hard here, but so is BKC. Sincerely interested in Wellu. He's ADV only, so there's no mystery here. Pyros. Pushes here from both the Pyros and the
15.
Sears.
Looks like 15's the number.
And the Pyros are going to win the day. So he has ADV only. They are still going to need an ADV, but Wellu has been picked up by the Cinnabar Pyros.
And they are very low on cash, but they only need 2 spots left. So they're shaping up all right
The Pyros.
for their last 2 purchases.
Yeah, I have them needing a black, white, and an ADV, according to this list that I'm keeping here.
And so it's 2 subs, right? So 6K there. So they have 12,500 for 2 starters.
Jacob
Yeah,
here.
that's a rough spot. You don't really want to be in that spot, but
Jacob was on my SPL team this past year. Nice guy, easy to work with. He was also one of my co-hosts for the Gen 8 kickoff tour for real money that we did a few months back.
who won that?
Tricking.
Oh, interesting.
Tricking beat Insult, I believe, in the finals, and then Soulwind got third.
What was the money for that?
Few hundred, nothing wild, but few
I
hundred.
mean, money's money,
Yeah.
especially in these trying times. 5K for Jacob's pretty good.
For Jacob to the Pyros. Actually, he could be black, white, or ADV. So that was actually a nice pickup for him because that gives them the flex of getting another black, white, or another ADV as they see fit because he could do either or.
Yeah, and they were able to save a little bit there, so now they got 7,500 for their last starter, which isn't as bad.
Here comes Hack, who I'm going to be honest, I'm just not overly familiar, so I'm going to let this happen, and we can kind of catch up. Obviously the Dragoons, since now you're on them, are the greatest team, but other than the Dragoons, what are we thinking here?
Let's see. I like the Yetis, but they need to fill out those last 5. They're a little bit behind. I think the Supernovas need to buy some players real fast. I like the Pyros. I think they shook out well and they got some early good value purchases. So now they got the 1 slot left and they're almost a pretty complete team. Diggers are okay. I think that at this stage, you're looking at the teams and just the players that have been able to buy more are looking better to head into this end game. I think the Rollers are going to have a tough time. I think the Supernovas are going to have the roughest time filling out their rosters. So we'll see if they're even capable of doing that with the funds they have left.
Dragoons are going to look like they have the problem that I usually have, which is they're just going to end up with too much fucking money.
Yeah. Is there even a player worth going in on that's left?
Yeah, I mean, to various extents. Let's see. Dragoons need.
We're going to need RBY.
Yeah, gonna need RBY, which at this point I would imagine is not overly expensive.
They're going to need BW.
Just pulling up my list. I'm getting some questions privately here. BW for Dragoons. Yeah, they have Rakan, so they will need another guy.
They're going to need at least one more of Advance or DPP, probably two.
Pyros here are on the chopping block with the Nom. What do they? This is one of the better players remaining. This is who I have as the best black-white remaining. Finch saying last black-white. I don't agree with that, but he is the best black-white remaining.
So hopefully my squad really just goes after him here. This would be a good one for them.
Yeah, if I had some amount of money, I'd make some kind of push here. 5K is an underpay. Yeti's here making a push. Looks like your Dragoons do not seem overly interested in this guy. Yeti's here making a push. 6.5 underpay here. This guy actually just beat Ryza in the semifinals of the Black-White PP Tour, which was a best of 3. He beat him in a clean 2-0. AHD will be fighting against Finch in the finals of that tour after beating Ryza. This guy can play. Yeah, that's a good buy for the Yetis. I feel like I've said that a number of times.
Uh-oh, Sprinkler got dunked on.
Did he?
Yeah.
Like he already lost or he's losing?
No, he got dunked on hard. It's over.
Perfect.
Here's Somalia.
Hero's Destiny, and here comes Somalia. Yeah, the DPP is not so hot. I think you got to do what you got to do. Snowpoint Yetis look.
It looks like the Dragoons are going for him. This is a good buy. I like Somalia.
10K Somalia. Okay, that.
Hopefully, no one uses Grass Knot against him.
You've got to think that that's DPP.
Or no, Energy Ball.
I don't know if they're gonna have you in DPP or an ADV. They need one or the other. Here comes Lighthouses being nommed by the Supernovas. There's an upbid for Christos 3.5. Does DA actually want him, or is that bait? Looks like bait because he's not. Yeah, no upbid at all. It's just going to be a quick 3.5 for the Yetis.
Why would Lighthouses go so cheap? Does he just not care anymore? Or?
His stock's pretty low right now, I would say. He kind of dropped off for a while, and he doesn't necessarily like every manager. I can tell you for sure that he doesn't like DA and that he did not want to be on that team. But he ended up with the Yetis. See how that goes. Fourth Prince. This guy is Sheep on Smogon, for those unfamiliar with the weird Pokemon Perfect name. This is one of the DPP options, and looks like a number of teams. Sears, Gold Diggers, Rollers, all pushing here.
Hard, too. All three of them really want him.
Yeah, the pools are definitely pretty dry at this point. There might be a diamond in the rough somewhere, but I don't think there's too many world beaters left to grab. Fourth Prince, that's Sheep. Where did he go? He went to the Gold Diggers. Here comes Lucix, who is number 1 on the DPP ladder by like 100 points. The most dominant player on DPP ladder. We'll see if any managers give a shit about ladder.
Well, if the Dragoons go for him, so that would mean I probably play what? Advance?
That would be ADV alongside H-Clat if they...
It's a strong core.
If they end up getting...
Manly core.
Both BKC and the Dragoons, rather, are making a push here. Alcione...
Looks like they do give a shit about ladder ranking.
Well, here's your number 1 DPP ladder player. Like I said, by like 100 points, too. Yeah, fair enough. Dragoons are going to pick up Lusix. I'm definitely a fan of that player. I think that's a good buy. And that is going to move good old JabbaTheGriffin over to ADV
With my boy H-Clat.
with H-Clat.
We're gonna use Scizor every single week.
Oh, you two are going to have a lot of fun together.
Lock it.
You two are both very open-minded builders for sure. There's going to be some fun ADV coming out of that team.
Here's Loge.
Yeah, best GSC remaining in my opinion. Triangles here, and the Dragoons also making a push. 5K. Goodbye if so.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good for them. Nope. Last second up bid.
Nope, Sears coming in for 5-5.
The Sears really need them? Yeah, the Sears definitely
And
need
looks
them.
like Triangles has a sincere interest and is not just upbidding,
How
but
far can the Sears go? Sears can max bid 16, and that would leave them for 3K for the rest of the...
bidding continuing between BKC's team and Triangle's team here. Let's see. Do they need it? Let me check out the lineups here.
The Sears definitely do. Do the Rollers?
Sears have 0 GSCs right now.
Yeah.
And the Rollers, where are they? Rollers also have 0 GSCs.
Okay.
So...
Who's got more money? The Rollers, right?
they both need this guy. They are both...
The Rollers should just cap whatever, just keep going because BKC can't bid more than 16. You don't want to bid 16 here, but BKC can't go higher. So,
I mean, it looks like BKC's hand is going to get forced. I think Kale is going to possibly end up in GSC just because he fucking has to, and they're going to have to just find another ADV guy. Here is Loge going to the Rollers. Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and move Kale from ADV to GSC on my list because I just the GSC at this point. Man, the Sears are not having that great of a draft.
they're being pushed out of so many players that they really need. Just because they kind of, like I said earlier, they hamstrung themselves with a lot of those early purchases.
I forgot to put Oyboff down, so he helps, but yeah, they had those 2 big early buys, but after that, they just haven't really been able to do a whole lot. They've been pushed off, just like you said. Enigami, I mean, he signed up for other stuff, but realistically, this is RBY only. You don't want him in ADV or Black-White. Reasonable RBY, especially given what is left. We'll see who needs him. Supernova's picking him up. I know these guys are friends. And yes, he is going to be on the Supernovas, who have not picked up a player in what feels like a hot minute.
Very long time, yes. And they're also extremely low on money, so it's been hard for them too.
Well, they're versatile. They have 1 player of every tier, according to what I have, so they could add absolutely anybody at this point. Marco inquiring about a player. Yep, Sinker is a reasonable GSC Spanish player. GSC, let's see. That is not how you spell snowfall. Oh, I guess Christos did it right. I guess somebody fucked up on the sheet and listed him as SN fall.
Well, the issue is that
yeah,
I don't know if this it's the special character. He's got the O with the fucking line through it.
Yeah, so I guess we have to know him SN fall. Let me just inquire about that.
Yeah, the KG Das just confirmed.
Yep.
The special PS can't read the special character.
Okay, so SN Fall is he was on my POCL team. One of the better DPPs remaining. I think his stock is very low right now. After a couple of not so hot tours, last year in ROA PL he went I think 2-5, but I think this player is better than people think. I don't think he should be wildly expensive, and certainly teams that are starting to panic and, oh, fuck, we don't have a lot of money, we need guys. This is probably somebody to look for if the price is right.
Yeah, who's going after him right now? Sears and Rollers. They seem to be
Yeah,
having a lot of push
rollers.
lately. Rollers grab them, and they're shaping up.
So they have
What
they
do they
have
still need?
they need ADV, GSC, and black white. They have filled their DPP and their RBY.
Oh, but they have 8 players. They should only need 2.
I must have not listed someone. Who did I miss for the rollers? I didn't. Oh, Hack, because I don't know what the fuck, where he goes or what he does. I'll put him down somewhere. I just don't know him, but I did not write him down because I don't know what the deal is with him. There we go. Water Mess, one of the ADV options here.
Are you messing up because the diggers are where Hack landed, not the rollers? Are you drunk?
Yeah. Rollers. Boy, Julio. I will catch up in 2 seconds. He just went to the rollers. Yeah, let me just get that up to speed. Rollers are
And they just picked up Water Mess
Mr.
too.
Tim, Altina, Loge. Oh, I didn't put Bush Tush down. Haha.
That's a big one.
Yeah, it's a big one. Bush Tush, and I don't know if he'll be a sub or a starter, but yeah, Water Mess. Okay. So yeah, the rollers, they are Black White, Chulio, Bush Tush, DPP, Void, Snowfall, ADV, Altina, possibly Water Mess, GSC, Loge, and they need a guy, and RBY, Ebola, Mr. Tim. That looks like a good squad.
It is a pretty good squad. Meridian.
Thoughts on Meridian?
Don't have any.
Me either.
Well, great.
I just don't know the guy. No disrespect. I don't know him.
Looks like Dragoons are gonna go for him though. They do need BW.
I was just gonna say. I think he's French. So here come the Dragoons.
Are we a French squad? Am I gonna have to become fluent? Am I gonna have to open my what's it called? That app where you learn Duolingo. I'm gonna pull up my Duolingo so I can communicate with the squad.
Merci beaucoup. Oui. Yeah.
Yeah. Parlez-vous Frankies?
Just fucking say the line from Lady Marmalade. Everybody knows that one. Lady Marmalade. Voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir? Dragoons 8K Meridian. Okay, I don't even know if I had him listed. I just don't know him, but he's black white. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so it's Rakan and Meridian for black white. Lusik, Somalia, DPP, H-Clat Jabba, ADV, Keenan, Thunder, Sebra for GSC, and they need RBY. And now Sinker coming into play. He signed up for everything. The only tier that I'd be interested in this player in is GSC, and it looks like it is a battle between the Snipers and the Yetis, who, let me see.
Yetis really need him.
Yeti.
Or wait, no, the Sears. I'm surprised the Sears aren't going after him. The Sears really need everything right now.
Okay, let's see. So the Snipers, they need a GSC, and then the Yetis, I guess the Yetis, I think, have GSC, so it feels like they must want him for something other than GSC, because I thought their GSC was filled. Yeah, they have Mela and Frisoeva.
Maybe they'll put him in RBY.
Not sure what they're doing with Sinker.
I just always have a general assumption that anyone that can play GSC can also play RBY. It's generally held true.
Lighthouse at this point is probably one of their DPP starters. Here comes Narwhal, who is, I think, quite a bit better at RBY than he is at DPP. Not a world-beating player by any means, but you could probably expect about a 500 record from him. He could randomly go 4-3 or 5-2 if he caught the right breaks, but generally this is about a 500-ish player. This is an overpay, but it is possibly an overpay out of necessity. There are still several teams that are really needing RBY at this point, and it looks like Zomog's team, the Snipers, this is the first buy of theirs that I...
Another auction mishap. Check the time logs on the 9 to 9.5. That was 7 seconds after the 5 second notification. Yeah, a lot of this is just people being slow and then not realizing it.
Alrighty. We're going to go ahead and proceed. 7 seconds is enough, but yes, the lag is unfortunate.
It hasn't been, and it's like Triangle said, earlier it's been pretty clean since then, and this was just a case of someone, bidding 7 seconds after the 5 second notification.
Exactly.
Yeah, the bot's been clean since the earlier mishaps.
Alrighty, so Murilli here, 3.5, pretty quick. I mean, we are at that point of the auction where
Yeah, this is going to happen a lot.
Yeah, most purchases are going to be fairly cheap, going to start to fill it out. So Driftvale Gold Diggers are going to get Murilli, who's an excellent doubles player, but as far as old gens, I don't know. Getting a question to managers about the max number of players. I am letting them know that's 16. Hey, guess what manager asked me what the max is, or if there's a max?
Would it be Zakaru?
Well, close enough. Alcione, but yeah,
Okay.
it would be the Blackthorn Dragoons.
We're going to be that team, aren't we?
I don't know. I mean,
Players.
you've started to pick up some guys. You've got 8. That's par for the course at this point, right?
Yeah, but with a ton of funds.
Oh, here comes Cassie. 5K. Suck me, says Manat. Someone has to. Pyros. Pyros are going to get Cassie. Did they need black-white? This says yes, so it's going to be Riza and Cassie, or Cassie or whatever, another French player, for black-white. And now it is an Olorium for black-white for the Gold Diggers, who, based on what I have here, they could use it. I have XCal as their second black-white next to Bush Tush, but they could move XCal down to RBY and slot in another black-white player. It doesn't look like they were overly serious about it, but the Gold Diggers did get him. So Nolorium, that's probably a sub, but
That would be their well, yeah, I mean, they don't have enough money. So they have two more they have 6,500 for their last two, so it almost needs to be sub. So unless they can grab another starter quality player for 3,500, he's going to have to start.
Yeah, it might be Nolorium and black-white, and then XCal gets knocked down to RBY. So if that were the case, we actually have the full lineup for them. So it would be Nolorium and Bush Tush and black-white. It would be either Leo or Tony in DPP, and then the other one in ADV. Sheep in DPP, Emerald in ADV, Hyoga Fodex, Oibov as the GSC core, and Nails XCal as the RBY. Honestly, I am not impressed.
They just grabbed a sub, Pokology.
Yep, Pokology is better than probably 2 of their current starters. I think that was a fine. I think that was a fine 3K buy. But yeah,
Tell us how you really think, Callous.
No, that team doesn't blow me away.
It's
not bad. I mean, Nails is good, Hyoga is good, Bush Tush is good. It's not a bad team, but I'm not blown away. Let's see. While they're taking time on subs, let me look at my list here and see what we're really looking at here. Yetis look very good to me. Luxkilla Heroes, Destiny, Black White, Lighthouses, DPP, Alexander Shortage, ADV, Mela, Frisoeva, GSC. That's solid all around, and they just have to fill it in with some non-garbage, inexpensive RBY, and that's pretty good. Okay, Kishi's a great one. This would be a great buy for the Yetis that I was just talking about. There's a couple other teams that need RBY. Dragoons need it. Sears are bidding. Let me check where they are.
They need literally everything. Sears and
yes.
Supernovas need everything, and they finally have the funds that they can actually buy a player they need.
Sears might not need GSC if it's Oibov plus Kale. we'll see where Kale ends up going. But a push here for Kichi, who is an up-and-coming Latin American player who's been doing better and better recently. That's probably a good buy for the series. I think he'll do just fine in RBY.
Yeah, they're going to need a few more purchases like that to really bring their team to its end point.
DKM, Dragon Knight Master is what that stands for. Black-white.
Oh, I love the shortening the terrible name you made when you were 13, but now you can't get away from.
Four Tree Snipers picking him up. They definitely don't need Black-white. That's a weird buy for them. They have Lax and Evu Elf, who are both only Black-white. So unless one of them just flat out doesn't play...
Well, I mean, I assume that's, just going to be their sub.
Yeah, but when does he ever play? Like, Lax or Evu Elf would have to sit out.
That's true.
It's a bad buy, I think. I don't like that pick. Not a bad player. I just don't think it's a good fit for that team. Here comes Dream. This is Clefqui. And he is going to end up on the Moss Deep Supernovas, another quick 3K that may or may not be their second DPP. We'll see who they end up with.
They said, oops. He probably won't play for me. the Sprinkler.
Fuck him. He got dunked on. Nobody should buy him. BKC, 378. BKC wants him. Marco coming in here with the bid. They're tag teaming it. BKC nommed him, and Marco's upbidding him. These two are in synchronicity.
Yeah, I mean they need him. Great strat, more cup.
Saffron Seer is going to pick up the Sprinkler. And I have them as having no DPPs right now unless they're putting Kale there, so... A necessary buy. There he is, the Sprinkler. Try to catch up on my list here. We are obviously at that point in the draft where anyone who's worth a damn more or less is gone. But there are still a couple of other players that...
Everyone worth a damn is good, and one team still needs 4 starters, so...
Yeah, I mean, like, there's a couple players that I think aren't balls, but... There we go, Das on top of it. Naming Judge GK, I never pronounced this guy's name, but I'm familiar with him. Decent RBY
Scrappy just here. Fucking dipped. He's like, fuck this shit.
Yeah, Scrappy couldn't pronounce this guy's name either, as you could see.
He's like, I'm out of here.
Listen, you fucking Russian, Puerto Rican, fucking Australian. I don't know how to pronounce it. Judge... Oh, jeez. Go ahead, Jabba. You let me know.
Yajko.
Yajko? Sure. Yajko.
The player is already on team.
Hey,
I love how it does that. It disappears, but then it pushes the. What the fuck is going on?
Scrappy's back, so we're just.
Well, so the Yajko one went through, so like the bot disappears, but still pushes the the last nomination through.
Yajko. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Fucking Scrappy.
5 seconds passed, so...
Yeah, it's a lock, boys. Alright, well, I will take this time while they straighten this shit out to see where we are. So, starting at the top, because I'm unbiased here, just checking out what we got. In theory, the Gold Diggers, I mean, they need subs, but in theory, they have a full lineup starter-wise. What else do we have here? Cinnabar Pyros, they need an ADV. What else do we need? The Four Tree Snipers need DPP and a GSC. They need a couple of players. I guess Byron's probably one of their starting DPPs, given given the circumstances. Supernovas, I don't know. I mean, they need like 4 or 5 starters at this point, which is not where you want to be. They picked up some good dudes to start the tour. Bomber, Dan, Caetano, Honor, all talented players, but what the fuck are you filling the rest of the team in with? The Saffron Sears, I don't know. I mean, Dice Linear is such a good start, but I have not been impressed after that.
Yeah, they were pushed out of a lot of bids for good players after they went hard early, and so it's been hard for them to fill out the rest of that squad. Here's the Yajko.
Yajko.
He immediately upbid himself to 3.5. Interesting strat.
All right, there we go. So Yajko to the Dragoons, well, they need 2 RBYs, so there's one of them. You're going to have to pronounce that because he's your teammate.
Fantastic. I'm not sure I understand the immediate self-upbid, but it is what it is.
Goldenrod Rollers for Neomon here. I mean, this is basically, he signed up for everything, but this is basically GSC only.
And this would be their last starter, right?
The Rollers need, if Water Mess is starting for ADV, then yes, they would only need a GSC. I don't know if they're content with him or not. The Rollers did grab him, so it looks like Neomon for him. So in theory, if they're comfortable with Water Mess as a starter, then in theory they have a complete squad. What do they have for money? Enough to where things could change. 13.5, they could pick up somebody else who they end up starting instead, potentially. Zwain coming down for RBY and DPP. This is a Spanish player, and that's what I know about him. And he's a Yeti.
Yep, that was real fast.
Yeah, he's Spanish. That's what I know.
That's all. That's a lot of knowledge. The viewers really appreciate your in-depth analysis on all these players.
Fine, Zwain rhymes with Candy Cane, which is a Christmas. All right, we're done with that.
Yeah, shut up.
They need RBY. He signed up for that, so it could be him plus another, or it could be a sub. They also need a DPP. I guess Zwain signed up for RBY and DPP, so I guess that gives them, at worst, probably a flexible sub, right? But I don't know if that guy is good enough to... Oh, jeez. Scrappy, what are you doing, man? Non-professional jagoff. Did you mean Pokology? How? Oh, man. Why? Because they both have a P and an O in them? Those aren't even close.
And a G. Don't forget the G.
There's no G in Pokology?
Yes, there is.
What? Pokology?
Yeah, there's a G in there, man.
Oh, the end. Yeah. With you. Professor J for the Yetis. Okay, that's one of the RBY starters. Professor J. Oh, we're going quick.
Yeah, we got these 3K snap bids going in.
I don't know Guac.
Be the Rollers' last player.
Okay, hey, look, a French player for the Dragoons. Sagu D Meridian. He has a YouTube channel, guys. Subscribe to him.
Aren't they loading up on advanced DPP players?
He's a DPP, and yeah, there's 3K. They're loading up on French players. Keenan's French, Meridian's French, Sagu's French. I don't know what Yajko is. That sounds like Russian to me, but who knows? Tuon Noda. I don't know this guy either. But apparently some people do, because we have actual upbids at this stage of the auction. No, there you go. Italian Wonder.
Ah,
Oh,
Italians versus the French. That's what this league is going to come down to.
you're gonna have to
I remember when the only other nation that played Pokemon was Brazil.
you're gonna have to start eating snails as part of an entry exam to your team.
You're implying I don't pick them off the street and do that already.
Oh, you're a great buy then. No wonder they picked you. You fit in with the company culture. I'm surprised to see a guy go for 8K at this stage. I don't actually know this guy, but
I mean, some teams have the money and they need the spots, especially the Sears. They need to lock up. Supernovas are going to be, whew.
where are the Sears? So, Sears needed ADV or DPP. He's going to be
If I
one of
was any other
those.
team, I would just upbid the Supernovas noms just for shits and giggles at this point.
Well, they just picked up MMF. Yeah, not familiar. Moving along. MMF. Superstar, I'm sure. That's not how you know him, Gaku. Learn how to use Scrappy.
He's
That's also not. Let's try again. Third time's the charm.
Uh-oh.
Did they not set him as a manager? Okay, that's on DOS fucking up.
Oh, it reset for some reason.
But yeah, the
It's
third. Well, you got it right the third time. It wouldn't have gone through the first two times either way. All right, let's try again. Haika is a 3K sub that I actually do like. I had him on my POCL team. He was good for me. I like. Oh, look at that! Your manager's upbidding the French player.
the French ADV DPP player.
I'm surprised he didn't sign up for RBY as well, but
Well, you can slot them anywhere, right? For
yeah, he can go anywhere.
under 5.
There's
Maybe that's their strategy. Just buy these
their
French
strategy
players.
is to buy everyone who's French. Yeah.
Yeah, and then slot them in wherever because you bought them for 3K.
Cinnabar Pyros here got, or no, we're still continuing here. It looked for a second like they were going to lock him, and the Pyros and the Yetis in a fight here for Pice or Pace. 5.5. Man, I mean, snipers, guys, or supernovas rather. What are we doing, boys?
Who knows, man?
Pyros, 5.5 pace, DPP maybe. Hayburner, who is a Gen 7 main, busting out the RBY in this tour. New Gens player here. And Goldenrod Rollers, do they need RBY? Goldenrod Rollers. They do not. They have Ebola and Mr. Tim, but they now have Hayburner as well. Starry.
And they're locked. They got their 12. I don't know if they want to spend their last. Are there like mid-season buys or anything?
No mids.
So all these credits just get pissed away into the wind, right?
More or less, and you have 16 players max per team, so see if anybody runs into that problem. There's two teams with 12 at the moment. And that's going
The
to be...
Diggers are just out. They're done.
Yeah.
They're out of credits. They got their 12 players. They're locked.
Here comes Lord Thor X, who only ever loses to hacks. Just ask him.
I mean, most of us do. I've never lost a game straight up. I don't know about you.
Hey, neither is he. And there is Lord Thor X. Here comes Egal Vank, who desperately wanted to be drafted and was upset that he wasn't picked in ROAPL, so I am appreciative that somebody is taking a chance on him here. Nice thing to do. See if he can be an asset
Update
to
him
a
too,
team.
so he's not a min buy.
That's a bad upbid because now you can't flex him. That actually has strategic ramifications, or did he just sign up for everything?
He signed up for everything except RBY.
Okay, so shouldn't hurt you in theory. Saffron Sears, Egal Vank, okay. Let's see, Saffron Sears. Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm a little disappointed with how the Sears ended up. I think after starting out with linear and dice, I mean, obviously you're going to be catch strapped at that point, but they had potential to really put together a squad based around those two very strong core players, and I don't know I mean, Oibov, Kale, Ranch, and Kichi, those aren't bad fillers. I just, oh man, I feel like they needed just like that one more mid-level strong guy to to really get him there. Just give him just a little bit better of a core. I don't know if they got that guy.
Oh, look, we're closing out. Pyros are out too, with Thorks as their last purchase, which is how I assume it's properly pronounced.
Supernova's got Ilisaro, Moss Deep Supernovas for, let's see, Chino Itsuki. Chino Itsuki.
Supernovas are going to have a really interesting squad finishing out. So will the if I'm the Dragoons.
You are the Dragoons.
Well, I'm not the managers of the Dragoons. But if I was them, what I would do is just upbid everything the Supernovas do, so they can't even lock their last players for 3K.
Can I interest you in another French player?
You most certainly can.
Well, you got him.
Or should I say now, we.
Yeah, no, there is Furf.
Furf should go with Sagir and Yahko to make a really good core of
Oh, there goes Drogma in Shenhua. Who the fuck? I'm gonna start. I have the power to change names on Pokemon Perfect. I can go into these profiles. You watch. By the end of the day, these guys
name them all Steve.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. We're gonna have John, Steve, and Mike by the end of the day. Loroxel. After today, we'll be Larry.
Yeah.
And
I'm pretty sure Loroxel. I'm pretty sure I take that for my stomach pain.
Right? I know. Ever had that Loroxel pain? 6.5K here for the Yetis. Oh wow, this is more than most teams spend at this stage of the auction.
Wow, this is some whiplash going from 3K instant buys to actual upbidding. Looks like both the Supernovas and Yetis.
In order to even field a team, Yetis need at least 2 players. Snipers need at least 3 players. Moss Deep Supernovas to hit the legal minimum need 4 players still. Out of the all-stars that are remaining in the pool.
Got that, the Yetis did. So the Yetis need 1 more player.
To hit the minimum, that is correct. Oh, man, Supernovas.
The Rollers have 13.
Yeah, no, there's several teams are out at this point. 2 teams are out. 2 other teams are 1 player away from being out. And they're going to be forced. You can't just skip your nom. So when it's their turn, they're going to be forced to bid on somebody that they'd be willing to take as their last player. Of course, somebody else could take it out from under them, but they're going to be forced to at least nom someone that they could live with. Okay, Crystal. This is a new player to the community, supposedly a female. Who the fuck knows online?
Oh, it's an e-girl.
But has been very active recently and is an up-and-comer in DPP. I think that was actually probably a good 3K buy for them. I bet you, I don't know if she's going to get to play or not, but this is a player that's gotten better pretty quickly and is pretty active. I think that was probably a good pickup if they need the DPP, which I'm not sure, but I don't think you can go too far wrong. Their DPP does not look world beating. It cannot hurt to give her a shot, and yeah, I mean she's one of those players that might be bang for her buck. For 3K, if she gets you 2-3 wins, I think you did fine. Goldenrod Rollers here with...
They should probably just dip at this point. Do they really need another 3K sub? I guess it doesn't hurt, right?
Yeah, I mean, critical decision here because they have the potential to get stuck with whoever they bid.
Well, I even recognize. Let's check.
Yeah, no, I got a list here. I can give you some names that you've at least heard of, I would think. Let me see.
HSOWA, I've heard of.
Hot Skitty. We have Ophion, who's on our ROAPL team. Sarah is Sinara. You might know Sinara from Smogon.
No.
Toy Teen was on one of our teams before. He's a black-white guy who definitely should get picked up somewhere. Raining inside. What else do we have here? DMA is Captain Nightwalker. I don't know if you remember that name.
Nope.
Let's see. Lighthouses, Heroes, Destiny. Shakur is Leo Shakur.
Smash Lloyd. I recognize Smash Lloyd.
Vanisher, decent GSC option. Huston. Everybody needs a Huston.
Sure.
Mickmer. Okay. Hey, look, a French guy. But
Wow.
however, this guy went undefeated in that ADV team tour that we just had on Pokemon Perfect. His team ended up getting eliminated anyway, but he himself went 5-0, which, I mean, one tour is not the be-all, end-all as far as sample size and whatnot, but
We just got a French bro squad going on.
well, you don't go 5-0 for nothing. He's got to be decent, I would think. Here comes Stockings, also known as Andrew,
I've been
for
on Spanish squads before with M Dragon and all his buddies, but I've never been on a French squad before.
first time for everything. Here comes Ophion getting picked up. He is on our ROAPL team, and looks like he's going to be on Zomog's team. There are two teams that have all the money in the world and can just pick up whoever they please at this point.
I assume the Dragoons are going to pick up 3 more Frenchmen, and then and then that's the draft.
Well, you know what? You've got the money to do so.
Got more than enough.
French
They're going to
World
pick
Cup
up 3
team.
more Frenchmen and then leave the draft with 12,000 in pocket.
French World Cup team.
12,000 CALLOUS bucks. What can those be exchanged for on the open market? Do you have an OnlyFans account?
Who's pinging me? We made a mistake? What's the mistake? What are we waiting on right now?
I don't have the ability to type.
There we go. Here's
Zakaru
Drud.
is asking if they can bribe you with auction cash, and I want to say in chat that you can subscribe to your OnlyFans account.
Perfect.
I got some of those pictures. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I'm well worth the price.
His head's not the only thing that's bald. This draft has been going on too long.
Yeah, no, this is what the end of draft ends up looking like. Most teams are out. Oh, here's a private message from Dio.
Yeah, it looks like we should be closing up soon. Snipers need to pick up one more player for 3K.
5K for Hut Skitty. Oh, that's gonna be a dream team over there. We have Enigami, who is PP staff. We have Hut Skitty.
He's just like, fuck this shit.
Wow.
Oh no, he got up there. Just do it again. Just up hit him again.
We are fighting over Hut Skitty on Whale Lord action.
You can't do anything with. There you go. You can't do anything with those extra credits. They don't go with you to the afterlife. Just do it. Yeah, they got pushed out. That's great.
Oh boy, mountain of money. Well, 4 teams are done. 2 teams have a mountain of money, and 2 teams need one more guy.
They should just do it again. Because the Dragoons can go all the way up to 11. They should just drop an 11 and then leave. This is funny. I don't even know who this guy is. All right. This will be the Yeti's last player, assuming they actually want to. Claymore. They upbid him to 4,500 because why not?
Dio is trying to tell me that they made a mistake. They bid on the wrong person, and after the draft, they want to swap for a certain. What the fuck?
Well, if the player goes undrafted, I guess. I don't know. Who fucking knows? Oh, JCBC and upbid him, and that's going to be it for the Dragoons.
That's a squad.
Yep. And then that leaves the Supernovas. Still need one starter left, by the way.
They still need 3 players to even hit the minimum.
3 players and 1 starter. So one of these people that they nominate at the end here is going to be a starter. Could it be Cherry Bomb? Who knows? Snipers have one more player for 3K.
Which, of course, the Supernovas for...
They can just upbid.
Right. And anyone they don't want him to have could be, nope, you're not getting him. Nope, you're not getting him. They could be a prick to Zomog all they want. Fucking... And Zomog at this point is like, I don't give a shit. I'm so done with this auction. Just you could pick. You give me someone. And then you could pick from the rest.
Yeah, throw a dart at your computer screen. Get that player.
Critical decision here.
Scrappy left.
Did he?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're basically done. I don't give a shit who the last players are for the Moss Deep Supernova. So let's just take a look here and see.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. I gotta get going.
Yeah, let's see what we got here. I can finish it without you for the whatever 3, 4 players, whatever it is remaining. What do we got here? All right, what Ay. Man, Triangles and Dio are both trying to get a takesies backsies on one of these players.
Really? That's funny.
I mean, here's the problem. Like, the guy that they're saying that they want, that they somehow accidentally didn't get, is Lambo Murphy. Fucking nobody's name sounds remotely close to Lambo Murphy. I get it if, like, you accidentally fucking nominated fucking Dan instead of Don or something, but, like, how the fuck do you accidentally not get that guy? Like, you didn't accidentally type in fucking Bambo Murphy.
You just had a stroke on the keyboard and typed in a French player's name.
That's what I'm saying. How do you not get Lambo Murphy? Fucking, like, you type in whoever they nommed. Who was their last guy? They're the, what are they? They're the rollers. So, yeah, they typed in Drogba and Shenhua. Fuck, I meant Lambo Murphy. How does this happen? Oh boy. Anyway, what are we looking at here?
Yeah, let's run a quick post-mortem as the Supernovas flesh out their team with their last 2 purchases.
Yeah.
Or 3 or 4 if they want them.
Sarah is Sinara, which is a good 3K purchase for Sniper. She was on an SPL team a couple years ago as a sub. She's fine. She's definitely good enough to be a sub in this tour.
And then they grabbed CKW.
Yeah, that's Captain Nightwalker and whatever with the next couple of guys. Anyway, so yeah, let's. What are we looking at here? So, where would you like to begin? You want to go top to bottom, or do you want to?
I don't know. Maybe just a quick post-mortem. Who had the best drafts? All things considered, top 3. Let's go real quick.
Okay.
I personally like Yetis a lot.
Yeah, I see like a top four and a bottom four in my mind. I'm not
I like
sure.
snipers.
Yeah,
I like. The other ones are tough.
I like Yetis. I like
Obviously, my
snipers.
team's number one, but besides that,
Yeah, Yetis, snipers. What?
pyros maybe.
Uh, I can't. They're not bad.
Or
They're
it's
not bad.
definitely not the Sears. The Sears fell apart real quick.
I don't know. The
Rollers.
Sears are not bad. Dice Linear is really good.
Yeah, but
Kale,
they
I
they,
don't.
they were pushed out of so many top end players that I think things kind of fell apart.
My fundamental problem with the structure of the Sears team is in a hypothetical scenario where both Dice and Linear lose their match. What is their chance of them winning that week? It's like zero, right? I mean, they just like if somehow Dice and Linear go 0-2, you just can't win, right?
You would think, yeah.
Like you're gonna get 6 wins out of those remaining players. I don't see it. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's like a blatantly this team is a train wreck. This is the worst team.
I would agree.
Um, I would, yeah, I think I like the
Like even the Supernovas who had tough, they had issues at the end filling their team out. They had a really good 4 player start, so that alone puts them in a good enough spot. If some of those late purchases can have even an all right showing, can have like a 500 season, maybe you can just push on the back of those first 4. It's not outside the realm of possibility.
Rollers are sneaky good. They have a nice little RBY core.
Yeah, I like the rollers.
Void and Bush Tush are really solid. Snowfall's underrated. Water Mess, if he's as good as his ego thinks that it is, then he will. Then he'll be a good buy for 3.5. If he's as good as his ego says, then fucking 5-2 out of him, and he'll be a good buy. But that is yet to be seen. Uh, let's see. Gold Diggers. I mean, I don't love the Gold Diggers or the Pyros, but what I do like about both those teams is that they're balanced. They don't have any blatantly, wow, this spot is going to get dunked on every week the way some of the other teams do. So, like, those teams have potential to compete from every spot. I don't know if that always wins this tours. Usually you need, like, somebody in the vicinity of, like, a superstar kind of player. Um, but I mean, I don't know. G7, Luigi, Blightbringer, Ryza. It's not bad. Well, maybe the Pyros are better than I thought.
Yeah, I like the pyros.
Sniper, Supernovas. I don't. Oh boy. I mean, it's a disaster area team. What do you expect? And what do you think of your team, Jabba?
uh,
Wee wee.
yeah. Well, there's a lot of players I don't know. I'm not haven't really been big into the French section of the Pokemon world. So maybe they're really good. Sometimes that's just how it works. I found that other nations kind of stay away from Smogon, and you only really see them in World Cup, and then sometimes it turns out they're a lot better than you thought they were. When they put up good World Cup showings, but I don't know them. Hopefully, I'll get to know them. Hopefully, we get along well, and hopefully, we win.
I feel bad for the like however many people left that did not get drafted. Very few of them.
38. Imagine being bottom 38 in this tournament. That's got to take a hit on your ego.
I don't even agree. I mean, Huston should have been one of the RBYs. Like, people have a stigma against him because of behavioral stuff. Same thing. Like, some of these ADV guys would have been better substitutes probably than some of these other guys. Not picking Toy Teen in this is a crime. I had him like in my top 10 or 12 black whites, bottom end of it, but like he definitely should have been somewhere. Yeah, Akshi's getting better, and again, probably should have been a sub. I don't know. I don't always agree with these decisions. Usually when you get to the subs, It's no longer about attempting to be objective
Oh,
and
yeah.
picking the
But this is my
superstars or whatever.
buddy. I'm gonna
Exactly.
grab my friend for 3K. Yeah,
Exactly. When you get to that stage, you're usually just filling it out with dudes. I won't keep you. I know you have exciting dinner plans with the in-laws, which is where everybody loves to be.
of
What?
course.
Just give me the TLDR. Give me the top. I don't know, two or three teams and the bottom two or three teams, and I will let you be on your way.
All right, excluding my own from this, I'd say top three. I like Yetis, I like Pyros, and I like Gold Diggers. For my bottom three, probably Supernovas, um, Sears,
Wow,
and
Dyson Linear is a bottom three team, says
yeah,
Jabba.
I mean they just got pushed out so much, and it wasn't on them. It was just they took the opposite strategy of the Yetis, and I think the Yeti strategy of being patient ended up working out, and the strategy of going super hard on two players early, I think, made it hard for them to really fill the team out. And then last is who have I not even listed. Uh, I lost track. It's tough because there's a bunch in the middle, because we're only looking at an eight team tournament. So
But the best team, if you have to pick the team that you think one team that had the best draft is
I like the Yetis.
fair enough. You heard it here, guys. Jabba says the Yetis. I guess it's only fair if I also weigh in on this. Yetis are definitely up there. It's hard to argue with. You didn't say the snipers. I thought they had a pretty good draft too. I think Metal Gross Troller Gaku Lax is pretty solid. And they have reasonable talent around them. But yeah, for me, it's probably a toss up between the snipers and the Yetis. Those are the two that stand out to me. Well, that was fun. Enjoy your in-laws and enjoy being with the Frenchies. We will see how it plays out. Thanks for joining me, Jabba, and thank you guys for watching.